This episode is brought to you by AAA Tree Service, your local experts in professional tree care. Whether you need routine maintenance, emergency tree removal, or storm cleanup, AAA has you covered. Proudly serving Bucks County, Montgomery County, and the Lehigh Valley, they've earned over 45 five-star reviews for their reliable and high-quality work. From tree trimming and stump grinding to land clearing and more, AAA offers the full range of services to keep your property safe and looking its best. And you can get started today with a free estimate by calling 215-910-0663. Or you can visit their website, AAATreeServicePA.com. Once again, thank you to AAA Tree Service for sponsoring this episode. Okay, so Sunday night, the Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Pacers in the finals. It's the first finals that has been to Game 7 since 2016, since we saw the LeBron James come back down 3-1. So it sucks for the Pacers because obviously their superstar, if you haven't saw, Tyrese Halliburton tore his Achilles just minutes into the first quarter. And I mean, the Pacers were able to show some fight without their superstar. I believe they had a 1-point lead at halftime, and then when the second half rolled around, the Thunder started blowing it open. You know, I was swapping from the Phillies to the Thunder, and then once the Phillies started blowing it open, then I switched over to the finals, took a shower, came out of the shower, it was a 20-point game. I was like, yeah, this is over, so.
Yeah. I mean, I actually was watching the Phillies game the entire time. I didn't watch the finals game 7, but I was texting you about it. We were texting during the game, and you had told me that Tyrese Halliburton went down in, a couple of minutes into the first quarter?
Yeah.
And I was just
You should see the replay, and his bone, you could see the bone pop when on the replay. It was so disgusting.
I was like, damn.
He was on the ground crying,
There goes, the Pacers shot right there.
They showed his dad, crying in the stands.
And, I mean, that's an awful way to have your championship. That's an awful way to lose
it's an awful way
in
to
the championship
lose,
game.
Especially.
He
played through injury to get to Game 7 at that point, and then...
Right, he was playing through, a calf strain?
Yeah.
I think they said.
And then it was the nail in the coffin when the Achilles tear. So now he's going to be out for a significant amount of time.
Well, he's going to be out at least, 9 months? So...
Yeah. So,
almost up until the start of next year's playoffs. He might be able to come back for, maybe the last month of the regular season. I wouldn't rush him back onto the court by any means. There's no need to,
especially with how good they are. I don't think they
were able
rush him at all.
They were able to put up a decent fight without him being in the lineup for most of the game. They had one quarter where basically they got it handed to them.
Yeah, the third
quarter. Or the fourth quarter. There was one quarter they got outscored by 13 or 14 points.
But because they got in the third quarter, T.J. McConnell scored 90% of the points, I swear.
Yeah, so then it must have been in the fourth.
Every single time it was T.J. McConnell going up and scoring points. He scored 10 consecutive points for the Pacers.
Yeah, I think he made 6 consecutive shots or something like that.
He
ended
scored
with a total of 16.
16 points and no rings. So that means that the process has failed because T.J. McConnell's gotten no ring.
Well, how old is T.J. McConnell now? I mean, he's still got a couple years left in him, right? He's not, terribly old, is he? He's 30-something? 32?
33.
33? I mean, it's not like he plays, 30 minutes a game. I mean, he could probably still...
He probably still got
2 years left in him.
2-3 more years,
you know.
Especially if you coming off the bench to get
he's only playing 16, 17 minutes a game. I feel like T.J. McConnell's got.
If you're not he's not a consistent starter in this league anymore. So
no, I mean he never really was. He was never really a starter. He was never really a starting caliber starter that you would feel comfortable with heading through the entirety of a season. He was a guy that you could have fill in for the starting role, for games here and there if people were injured or just needed, a couple of days off, couple of games off or something. But he was never really the player where, let's say we're heading into opening day on night one, and I'm like, all right, T.J. McConnell's my starting shooting guard going forward, and I'm not looking to upgrade.
That's only if you have like a sustainable injury and you can't find a replacement, that's
Yeah.
TJ's role. And,
So
well, he provided some really good moments for the Sixers. So
he did. I like TJ's a great player. Like he's a all right. He's not a great player. He is a very good role player. He knows his role very well. He performs his job very efficiently. You know, he doesn't miss a lot of shots.
well, that's what a team needs, though.
Right, yeah, exactly. I'm not like saying anything bad about TJ McConnell. I like TJ McConnell. The Sixers could use someone like TJ McConnell, someone that's going to be able to get you steals, have active hands on defense, be able to have a nice outlet pass or two, can run in transition. Like, he can do a lot of things really, really well. It's just that he doesn't have the size that a lot of other players have, unfortunately. He can't do anything about that. He can't just, like, train and all of a sudden grow another 6 inches. Like, he's what, like 6 foot or 6'1"? Like, he's not very tall, is he?
No, he doesn't. He's not the tallest person ever.
Right,
so.
he's not the strongest dude ever. He's
Yeah.
not the fastest guy ever. Like, he's not the most athletic guy that's out there. But he's got high intensity. He can knock down a turnaround jump shot. He can give you a 3 every once in a while. He can make a circus layup every here and then, you know? Like, every team needs someone that is a good improviser, like TJ McConnell is. TJ McConnell is a great improviser. I know in Game 7 it didn't really show up on the stat sheet that way with the 7 turnovers, but most of that series, he is great at receiving the ball and then doing something with it that is not part of a play structure.
Whether it's an assist or a
Right.
scoring opportunity or what.
He's like, when you watch him operate, like, you can tell when there's plays that are being run, obviously. Like, you know, person goes up, ball handler, he gives some type of sign, hand movement, signal, whatever, calls a play. And then you see a whole bunch of moving parts going around the other court while the guy's just standing at the top, dribbling. A lot of times you'll see if that play breaks down, the ball goes to TJ. And then TJ figures out, all right, what are we going to do to salvage this possession? So that's what I mean by he's a great improviser. He's great at short, I got the receiving the ball, I have 6 seconds left on the shot clock, and the play already broke down. What is the best route for my team to take going here to score a basket in these next 6 seconds? He's always been really good at that. He's always been a very, like, I feel like kind of frantic player, if you kind of, like, get what I mean. He is very, like, he dives all over the place. He will run through someone, like, he'll run through a screen. He's very erratic sometimes with how he plays, but that's very good in a improvisational player. And the Sixers don't really have one. I mean, Jared McCain is a good improvisational player, but he was hurt.
We haven't seen the full potential of Jared McCain yet. So.
Right. TJ McConnell has definitely gotten his
fair share of experience and whatnot, but
yeah, I mean, he's gotten his extent of fanfare, I feel like, here in Philadelphia, where everyone still loves him around here. So, I mean, it's not like
he's provided some good moments for them during
right.
that
It's not like if his season
era.
were to end tomorrow, like his season, like, you know, not his season, his career were to end tomorrow. It's not like you would sit back and say that he did not have a successful career. He was a successful player, was able to stay in the league for 10 years as an undrafted guy on one of the worst teams in NBA history.
Be able to produce for that team too.
Right, like, remember, this guy started out as an undrafted guy from one of the worst standing teams in franchise and NBA history. With him coming to this horrible team that was here at the time, did anyone expect the undrafted dude on the really bad team full of a whole bunch of bad players to really stick in the league for this long and carve out a role for himself? Like, no one expected that out of TJ McConnell. So, like, TJ McConnell, if this is like the end of the road for him, I'd say he had a pretty good career.
He'll always be remembered for that shot against the Knicks.
I mean, he'll always be loved here in this city, and he'll probably always be loved in Indiana. I mean, how could you not love him after what he did to even force a Game 7?
Yeah.
You know, like, he was the one that forced that Game 7 in the first place. Like,
so that means now the offseason has started.
yes, indeed.
And now we got some trades, including Kevin Durant, which we kind of expected Kevin Durant to leave. He had, I think it was Houston, Miami, and like Minnesota on his trade list, and he ended up going to Houston. Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, the number 10 pick, and 5 second rounders. So 6 picks in total and 2 players for just Kevin Durant.
I mean,
which I don't know if that's.
I feel like that's underwhelming, right?
That might seem like an overpay. I feel like Kevin Durant only has about 1-2 like confident seasons left.
Yeah, I could see that.
In basketball, they would be stupid to give him a contract.
But Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks, the number 10 pick, I mean, the number 10 pick might not even turn out to be anything.
The number 10 pick could be anything.
Yeah, exactly.
But these 5 second rounders.
And 5 second rounders.
5 second rounders, you have 5 chances to produce superstar level talent.
Well, if
of what you got for Kevin Durant.
They're probably not going to use all 5 of those second round picks. They're gonna trade some of them away.
They're extending to like the 2030s. So
yeah.
Some of them.
They're not gonna end up picking all of those selections. Like it's like the same with the Thunder. Don't the Thunder have like 7 second round selections over the next 2 years? Yeah, they have a ton of
selections.
They're not gonna make all
Paul
of those
George
picks.
Trade. So,
so I mean, it's just it's what you do as a team to position yourself for the future when you know that you're probably going to be bad for a little bit. You just stockpile as many draft picks as you can, and then this way, once the team does get good, you get to trade away those draft picks for a star to come in to help the young guys that are good that you have. That's the kind of the way it seems like it is shaking out, or it's going to shake out with, because the Thunder aren't going to be able to keep all those guys together, unfortunately. You know, like they're not going to be able to keep Gilgeous-Alexander, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Green.
I feel like the guy they keep the most is Gilgeous-Alexander, obviously.
Yeah. And
like that's their main priority.
I feel like the guy that they probably let go is Holmgren. The NBA is turned into it's not a tall person league. You can be too tall now for the league. Like there never was a time before, like the past 10 years, I feel like, where you could be too tall for the NBA. You know what I mean? Like, but with the speed of everything and how much physicality and like the rate of injuries and everything now, like you kind of need to have that small lineup, and once you have those bigger guys that start to age,
you gotta have at least one big man in there though.
Right.
That's like key for every single starting lineup.
Thing is what happens when that big guys deteriorate quicker than small guys do. That's just facts. You know?
It is facts. I mean,
like
you see it all over the league.
Yeah.
We see it the most.
Exactly.
So.
Like it happens where like your body isn't really supposed to be as big as they are. Like, which is why the body takes such a hard time to recover, because it's not made to repair damage at this size.
For someone who's 7 foot.
Yeah, like it's not. That's not the way the human body has been like engineered over the generations to be. Like most of us are 5'10", 5'11". You know, that's what the average
that's
height
the average
of like
height
the
for
person,
an American male,
right,
so.
is 5'10", like 5'10", 5'11", maybe 5'9", like somewhere in that range. 6 foot is like pushing the top of like the average, but even 6 foot is tall.
Most people in basketball are 6'5", 6'6",
exactly.
6'7". So you're not going to see someone that's as short as Isaiah Thomas.
Exactly. But notice how when Isaiah Thomas got hurt, he was able to continue playing for a long period of time afterwards.
The body took shorter for him to recover because of how small he was.
Right, and also because of the fact that, you know, when your body's recovering, right? When your body is doing anything to fight something off, it's all about getting the blood to that area, right? It's harder to get the blood to the area if it has to pump it an extra foot. Like, your heart has to beat so much harder in order to push the blood out that much further. You know? Like, that's why when, like, a lot of tall guys have feet problems. Because the blood can't push that far down into the foot.
It's taking so long to get into the foot, yep.
Yeah, so that's why they all have foot problems, ankle problems, like hand problems, wrist problems, stuff like that. And when you get so many of those injuries that stack up over time, there's no way your body's ever going to go back to the way it was before. It was never supposed to be the way it was in the first place. Like, the fact that you were that tall in the first place and you were able to be this athletic is an anomaly. Now you're going to tell me you're going to have, you know, a ton of injuries over like 7 seasons and still be able to be the same physically as you were. Like, it's just not
that never
possible.
happens.
Yeah.
That happens for every sport.
Exactly.
If you get an ACL tear, you're not going to be the same person after an ACL tear.
Exactly.
It's the same with an Achilles or a wrist or
and
whatever it is.
And then the fact that these guys are just bigger than the average human being just makes it that much harder for them to ever come back and be the same that they were. So with the way that Kevin Durant has had a bunch of injuries now at this point, especially leg injuries. Now, the thing with Kevin Durant that probably works in his favor is he doesn't weigh as much as the other guys. He's very lanky, He doesn't have a lot of fat on him. He's very skinny. He's very he's like a string bean,
Basically,
the Slim Reaper. It's the nickname. There's a reason why they call him the Slim Reaper. He's very slender, and that probably helps a little bit by the fact that those legs and feet don't have to carry all that weight.
You compare him to Joe, who's got much more muscle mass.
Exactly, and you see how Joe's body has handled it compared to Kevin Durant's. Durant has been able to hold up to 35. Joel is deteriorating at 31. So
Joel will last 2 to 3 more seasons in this league.
And then Kevin Durant will probably last 2 to 3 more seasons in this league.
But the thing is, that's a 7-year age difference.
And they're both basically the same height. Kevin Durant's, maybe 2 inches shorter than Joel Embiid?
Joel Embiid is 7 foot.
I think he's 7'1", right?
7'1" or 7 foot.
KD's 6'10".
Well, they're both relatively the same height.
Basically. Yeah, exactly. But even those 2 inches right there could just completely plays a huge difference in how their injuries have shaped their careers. Probably just those 2 inches, the 2 inches apart that they are. That could be the difference between Joel Embiid playing for another 5 years as opposed to him not being able to ever return to the fact.
Or if he decides to actually focus on his health and decides to recover instead of just rushing through it all.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing is the fact that he obviously played during the Olympics last off season, which he probably shouldn't have. And
they can find someone that's different. They can find another big man who can play for Team USA.
Now, here, since we're on the topic of basketball and we have the draft coming up tomorrow, I said before we started recording that ESPN put out something where they got the Sixers making potentially 2 trades or 2 trade suggestions that this ESPN article has put forth for the Sixers.
So it's ESPN, so I'm expecting them to be terrible.
So one of them I actually like, one of them I don't like. First one, Sixers trade the number 3 pick to the Pelicans for the number 7 pick, and they get Herb Jones for Kelly Oubre. Now, the article goes on.
Who the hell is Herb Jones?
So, Herb Jones is third-year player. 42.3% in 2023-2024. Other than that, his offense has not been great, but he's a very, very good defender, and this points to the fact that the Sixers ranked 26th in defensive rating last season, saying that this would be a way for them to be able to add some size and some length and some really good defense to the team without giving up too much in return and still getting a pick back that you could
and being able to save some money.
Right. Now, that's not the one that I'm really...
You don't like that one?
I understand it, but I would rather have this trade where the Sixers hold on to the number 3 pick and they trade Paul George to the Nuggets for Michael Porter Jr., Zeke Nnaji, and Dario Saric. Give me my man Dario back here.
Little Dario coming back.
Give me my man Dario back here for the Sixers.
In the league.
Give me him back.
What? Michael Porter Jr., I got to see what his contract is on. Well, the thing is, the Sixers will be saving a ton of money.
If they were able to do that to get rid of Paul George.
Would be able to get rid of Paul George.
Now, I believe Michael Porter Jr. also has a pretty sizable contract, but it's nowhere close to Paul George's.
Yeah, nowhere close to Paul George's.
And that would probably free up some money where you could maybe make either another trade where you can take on more money than you were able to before, or it could actually make it so that maybe once the draft ends, you can potentially
You can sign your players.
Right, you can potentially have more money to give to the players in the draft, or have some extra money to throw around for maybe undrafted guys or for potential free agents. Because free agency starts
Agency starts the 6th at 12 p.m. Eastern.
Right, so
But
if you're able
teams are
to
allowed
free
to-
up some money
Teams are allowed
before
to start
then,
negotiating stuff like right
yeah,
now.
yeah. But if you're able to like free up that money, tomorrow night before you really get into those negotiation process with all these free agents and stuff like that, I feel like that would be very beneficial because you actually have a solid 10 days to sit there and have some groundwork laid out for how you're going to use
So here's
this money.
the thing. I love trading Paul George. The
Yes.
Nuggets won't take that contract.
Probably not.
And we've already heard that they're gonna run Embiid, Maxey, and George back for another season. So
Unfortunately.
clearly that isn't working. Their primary target is Quentin Grimes in the free agency period. He's restricted.
Yes.
So
and they can match whatever offer he's given if they really want to keep him.
And I'm expecting they will probably match it, depending on how big the deal is.
If it's reasonable, they will match
If it's
it.
reasonable, yeah. But
Yeah.
if they're offering like 9 figures,
I mean,
which
if
he
some
won't
team
get,
falls in love with how he finished the season with the last month and thinks that he can be the focal point and a 30-point per game scorer, like average over a season.
But what if that's just insanity?
I understand, but if there's a team out there that offers him that kind of money, the Sixers are no way going to match that. Like you're talking probably at that point you're talking $100 million contract close to it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I don't expect the Sixers to do well this season, so
I'm not really expecting them to do well this season.
I'm expecting
either.
them maybe like in 35 to 40 win range.
I don't even know. It really is a toss up. I feel like
It's a toss-up,
up as to what this roster is even going to look like on
Opening night. Yeah,
like,
because there's going to be no Joel. Eric
There
Gordon's going to opt into his player option.
right. And I have seen some stuff where I've also seen scenarios that say like Sixers trade back from 3 to 4 and the Hornets get Andre Drummond as part of that deal. And then they trade back from 4 to I believe like 7 or like 4 to 8
I've seen
or something.
I've seen so much stuff going on. Like Sixers will, they're gonna stay in number 3. Nope, they're gonna trade down. Nope, they're gonna trade up. Oh, they're gonna trade the pick and Paul George.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna.
I've seen them trade up to number 2 for Dylan Harper. I've seen them trade down to like number 6 to get Trey Johnson. I've seen them take Trey Johnson at 3 in some mock drafts. I've seen them take VJ Edgecombe at 3. I've seen them
Trey Johnson at number 3.
No,
Well, we know
they're not going to take him 3. It would be a very, very bad decision to take him at 3. If you want to take him, just trade back like 2 spots.
Exactly. Yeah.
Trade back to like number
Trade
5.
back, maybe
Because
double
I think
player, double
Charlotte
contract.
has already kind of indicated that they're taking VJ Edgecombe.
That not if the Sixers can get him before.
Right. So if the Sixers want VJ Edgecombe, then by all means take VJ Edgecombe. But
So-
if that's not the guy you want,
And
the team behind you doesn't want the guy you're after.
I don't want them to draft Ace Bailey. So
I don't want them to draft Ace Bailey either.
I know you were talking like high on him in the one episode, but he's held out of his workouts.
Well, he seems like he doesn't want to come here.
He's not a team player. That's the thing.
Yeah, if you're gonna be if you don't want to come here, then I'm not gonna make this harder.
He doesn't
want to
come here. He'd rather throw out the first pitch for the Mets.
Right.
Like,
I'll take someone that does want to
go
come
rot
here.
with the Nets, the 19-win Nets for all I care about. And this team has had a perennial amount of just draft picks that never worked. I'm just going to lay out a couple. Jahlil Okafor.
Yep.
Ben Simmons. Furkan Korkmaz.
Mm-hmm.
Markelle Fultz.
Yep.
Jair Smith. Yeah,
Got all about him.
That was the guy they traded Mikal Bridges for.
Yep.
Landry Shamet.
Wasn't he like a really late? He was like a 20th.
He was like a second rounder or something.
Yeah, so I don't think
Matisse Thybulle. I mean, Matisse Thybulle had
He
some
was-
good moments, but
Thibault was a first rounder, but he wasn't high in the first round. He was pick like 16 or like 17. Anytime you get
Matisse
past,
Thybulle wasn't bad. He was decent.
I mean,
at best.
let's be honest. Anytime you get past like 7th pick in the NBA draft, it's a toss up.
It's just
to
a hit or
who's
miss,
gonna who's gonna be good or not.
Jaden Springer. And the only picks that have worked out, I feel like, within the last 10 years is Tyrese Maxey. I can't even say Jared McCain just because of his limited playing time.
I mean, Embiid has been very good.
Embiid has been very good, but I was
like-
going off the last 10 picks. The last pick from the 10 years.
Gotcha.
So obviously, Embiid wouldn't qualify anymore.
You got
You got
I don't even know
Jahlil Okafor, and then
who other than Maxey and McCain is still even on the team.
nobody.
Korkmaz is gone.
Korkmaz is gone. We're not going to speak about Ben Simmons.
Obviously, he's gone. Fultz is gone.
Fultz is gone.
Thybulle's
Fultz
gone.
Has been gone. Thybulle's been gone. Landry Shamet and Zaire Smith, I don't know where the hell they've been.
Yeah, Smith is gone. He was
Jahlil
first round
Okafor
pick.
played
Okafor,
like 3 minutes for the Pacers.
I think he also played a little bit for Sacramento, but I don't know if he's in the league anymore. I don't know if there's anyone else.
There's no one else really.
Yeah,
that I can think of.
I think that's it. And all of those players are basically out.
Yeah, except Maxey and McCain.
Yeah. So, and those are very recent draft picks.
Yeah,
You
Maxey
know?
is 2020 and McCain is 24. So
Right. So, not a good track record. Well, they also haven't had a lot of opportunities to draft because they've traded away.
they've traded away
their
picks,
picks,
or
you know?
they've either selected
You had to-
so low in the
You had
draft.
to trade away your picks to get James Harden. Then you had to trade away your picks to get rid of James Harden. I don't think they have one next year. I don't think they have a first-round pick in 2026.
Honestly, dude, I don't know. This team is going just
And I don't know if
downhill.
they have one in 28
and
either.
this Sixer ship is sinking worse than the Phillies, dude.
Yeah.
So
And there's kind of no way for them to get out of it unless they get out of the contracts that are pigeonholing them to where they are.
and obviously that's not going to happen.
Yeah, because you're not going to be, unless you're able to medically void one of their contracts, you're not going to be able to do anything.
So Daryl Morey is turning into the new Ruben Amaro Jr.
You still got Joel's massive contract and Paul George's massive contract for the next at least 3 years. Paul George has, 3 more years because he signed a 4-year. He just completed his first.
Who even knows if he'll play the next
Right.
2-3 seasons with the rest of the
But he's
squad,
right
but-
now under contract for 3. And Joel is under contract for another 5.
Plus that 3-year freaking $200 million extension.
Well, I think that kicks in next season, I believe. It's either next season or the season after.
More money down the drain. Maxey's on a super max.
Yep. So
But he's probably the only player that's actually worth the money he's getting. So
and unfortunately, he's the only one that's worth anything in trade value. And honestly,
And-
his trade value is probably the least it's ever been because of the injury season that he had. So
and I don't see the Sixers even trading him to begin with. So
they probably will. If anything, I could see them maybe trading back to like pick like 5 or pick 6, and then just making their selection there. But I guess with Daryl Morey, you never really know what way he's going to take it.
You do really never know. So
But please, just don't take Ace Bailey.
yes, bro. Anybody but Ace Bailey.
Just don't take.
You know,
Ace
we
Bailey.
might be a little angry next time we record if Ace Bailey does some Ben Simmons shit like that. So.
And then in other trade news, Celtics traded Drew Holiday.
Oh yeah, the Celtics have traded for Drew Holiday. That happened at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock last night.
Yeah, that happened late in the night last night. Traded Drew Holiday to the Portland Trailblazers for Anthony Simons and 2 second-round picks. Anthony Simons, good player. He's a starter, but I don't really know what impact he's going to have for the Celtics. But I mean, he's a good player, so.
Better than Drew Holiday, so
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's
Drew Holiday is just a role player now.
relatively good trade for the Celtics.
Walking around the league because he's so old.
Yeah.
And then one more trade we gotta talk about with the Flyers.
Yes, indeed.
So they traded for 24-year-old Trevor Zegras from the Anaheim
right?
Ducks.
Yeah.
He's a center. And they also said, he's a center. So they traded center for center because they traded center Ryan Poling, the 45th pick in the 25 draft, and a 4th-round pick in 26. So
Okay. So they're giving up a pick in 26. and they're giving up the guy that they drafted last year.
No, the number 45 pick in 25.
Okay, so they're giving up number 45. So that's second round
pick?
pick?
2 picks and a player for this Trevor Zegras.
Okay.
And he looks promising, only 24. He has not been playing that much due to injury. Only 31 games in 23-24, but 57 last year. 32 points, 12 goals, assisted 20. On a cheap deal, 3 years, $17.5 million. He'll be a restricted free agent at the end of the offseason.
Okay.
So he's still young. He could fit right in with him and Matt V.
Yes.
Maybe work like a little 1-2 combo, but I don't know the results. I don't know the way the Flyers are going to go this season. I don't know if they're going to keep making trades, especially for like goaltending, or what they're going to do in free agency, or what they're going to do in the draft.
They got to do something about the goaltending. They have to at least get something in here because their goaltending was the worst in the league, I'm pretty sure, last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, after that, they just went... I mean, they went in a full tank mode. They just fell down a cliff.
Yeah, and, I mean, I know that they got screwed by the whole Carter Hart situation, but they got to do something to get a competent goalkeeper in here. Yeah,
they haven't had one, I feel like, since Carter Hart.
Exactly. So they need to do something to get in a solid goalkeeper, someone that can at least be serviceable until they find whatever the answer is at goalkeeper going forward. But I know they have a couple of guys, I think, that are playing internationally in Russia that are like signed as goalkeepers. Mm-hmm. But I am not entirely sure if any of them are coming over here anytime soon. Like, I have no idea what's going on with those players over in Russia. I've heard about, I think there's 2 goalkeepers that they have. One's like a 19-year-old that's in some developmental league over in Russia.
Yeah, I don't know really that much about the talent and the prospects that they have currently in Russia. So
yeah, but I mean, hey, that's where they got Matvey from. So if you're able to keep bringing them over here like Matvey, then keep on doing it. Like,
yeah, exactly. So
keep on doing what works. And then let's move on to the Phillies here.
Yeah,
because they are definitely working right now.
And they are definitely working. Definitely,
they are keeping what's been working going. Winning 10 of 13. Pitching really, really well recently.
Taking the series from the Mets.
Yep.
Which is
crucial.
Obviously something you love to see.
Take full control of first place.
And especially since the Mets lost last night, the Phillies have added a game over the Mets. So that's 2 games now.
Yep.
That the Phillies are on top over the Mets.
Now, they do have a tough series coming up here against Houston.
And then they got another one coming up against Atlanta.
But, I mean, Atlanta has been on a rough slide, so, I mean, hey.
Hey, they seem to somehow beat the Mets. They've consecutively beat the Mets 4 straight times. So I feel like that's like their kryptonite right there.
Yeah.
And they cannot seem to win against the Mets. And the Mets are struggling overall in general.
And I mean, if the Mets and the Braves want to just beat up on each other the entire season while the Phillies just go up and take first place, that's fine with me.
That's perfectly fine with me. There's a lot of gaping holes in that Mets lineup. They sent Alvarez to AAA. They sent Acuna's brother to AAA.
Yeah, Luis Angel.
Frankie Montas, who they signed in the offseason.
Has had a really bad rehab starts. Mm-hmm. Really, really bad.
And there's a guy on Barstool Sports. I don't know if you heard of Frank the Tank, but he's just this Mets fan who bites his shark necklace and goes crazy whenever the Mets lose. He talks about like his hate for Chipper Jones and the Braves, and he keeps talking about how Frankie Montas is going to suck just because of, I guess, how bad he's doing in AAA, but I don't know.
I mean, if you've seen his numbers in AAA, they don't look good.
They are bad.
They are pretty atrocious.
For the contract they gave him. And then they got...
Alonso has started to taper off a little bit. He was hot in the beginning.
Kodai Senga's on the injured list. Yep. I think Tyler McGill's on the injured list. So their starting rotation is like David Peterson, Paul Blackburn, obviously you got Montas in there. Manaya's in rehab. So their pitching situation is definitely a little bit off the rails. The only player that...
Soto's been up and down.
But Soto has had a pretty good month of June so far. Right. I would say he did kill the Phillies on Saturday.
The entire team killed the Phillies on Saturday.
Yeah.
So
they have some gaping holes in that lineup. They have Jared Young, who I've never heard of, and now they're going to be playing with Luis Torrens at catcher because Alvarez can't seem to hit the baseball.
Yeah, and
Mark Vientos is on the injured list.
Torrens is not the best catcher by any means.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's replaceable.
It's just basically like the starters: Alonso, Lindor, Soto.
Yeah, it's the fact that they got the
Brandon Nimmo.
The usual suspect.
The
of
usual
characters
suspects,
of
yeah.
Alonso,
Like Starling
Nimmo,
Marte has
Lindor.
been up and down too.
Mm-hmm. Well, Starling Marte is 38 years old at this point. Like
Yeah,
Starling
he's in
Marte
like the last
is,
year of his contract or something. So.
Yeah, he's an old man at this stage of his baseball career. And I don't mean old man as in like he's old, but in baseball terms, he's an old man.
Yeah, you're not going to last that long if you're in your mid to late 30s, unless you're putting up like spectacular performances.
Crazy though, he's still got amazing speed.
He still does, yeah.
He's still got great speed, which is nuts. See his 38-year-old ass lugging down first base, and it's like, holy crap, you can still move like that, dude?
And speaking of Saturday, they did get killed.
Yeah,
I mean,
they got clobbered.
Mick Abel, probably the worst start. Well, the worst start of his short career.
Yeah, worst start of his young.
But you're gonna go
career.
through these bad starts. 4 earned runs in 3 innings, and then you got Joe Ross giving up 3 runs. You know the Joe Ross special with cheese.
Yep, and then Michael Mercado also got lit up, and
just some garbage time reliever. It's not like they had to use anyone serious in that game. So.
Yeah, like they already sent Mercado back down. Like
that's just the trail of Phillies, the train of Phillies relievers going, up and down, up and down, up and down. It's like the train has turned into a roller coaster.
Well, I mean, pretty soon the roller coaster is going to start launching people from the seats because people are going to be out of options pretty soon.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Can't keep doing this roller coaster.
We thought Weston Wilson was going to get designated, but apparently he still has an option because he got sent down.
Yeah, I didn't know that he still had an option left. But I think with them sending Mercado back down, that's his last option. So I think if he gets
no
called,
clue what his options. I don't know how much options you get. I think it's 3.
3. Well, I know they called him up last year, and they already called him up once this year, and then they called him up again this year.
He has one more
3.
option. Yeah,
so
next time he gets called up,
he has
designated for assignment.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless he's able to pitch enough
and
to
I seen
stay with the team.
Rojas has 2 options left somehow.
Yeah, because Rojas, I don't believe, has ever been sent down since he got called up.
He got sent down, I think, once.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay, so
that means it's 2 more options.
Yeah, he would still have 2 more options
the
left.
The threat of him sending him down, would you like be okay with him getting him sent down?
I'd be fine with him going down. It's just who you're gonna have to, who you calling up?
Are you gonna have to replace him, or are you gonna have to make a trade?
My whole thing is, you called up Johan Rojas before he was ready to play center field because you needed it. Are you gonna do the same with Justin Crawford now just because you need it? You saw how it worked out with Johan Rojas. He was relatively viewed as a intriguing prospect in the Phillies system.
Who has good speed.
Right, who had some upside.
Gets the ball quickly.
And people thought that he might develop some type of a little bit of power. I mean, if you look at his swing, he's got a decent swing.
His swing is good. He just swings out of his shoes every single pitch.
He just doesn't keep his eye on the freaking ball. Like, his swing is not a bad swing. Like, he's got good bat speed. He generates good, torque with his hips. And
he's good for laying down bunts, which he can't even do.
Well, he has gotten much better at the bunting. I mean, he's gotten a lot better at the bunt. He's got already 4 sacrifices this year. So, I mean...
It's all right, I guess, for... he's not even considered an everyday player, I guess. So.
Yeah, I mean, he's only got 121 at-bats. And 121 at-bats, he got 4 sacrifice bunts. It's pretty decent. I mean, you're not going to be asked to sacrifice bunt every time.
117 freaking strikeouts because he chokes up when it's like, oh, he's got his bat right here, swinging for the damn fence. Swings out of his shoes. Surprised his helmet doesn't fall off, like how you see that with, Bartolo Colon.
Yeah, he just doesn't keep his eye on the ball, dude. Anytime you see him take a big swing like that, look at where his head is positioned after the swing. It's not down.
It's not down.
It's never down.
It's to the side.
Yeah, because he pulls out. He's opening his hip. He's pulling out. He's trying to crush the ball, so he's trying to pull it. He's trying to pull the ball to get that extra lift on it to.
It clearly doesn't work.
Yeah.
He got to learn, like, if you're here to hit for contact, then hit for contact. I swear, if he changes his approach, he can become so much more better of a hitter.
He could.
If he changes his approach.
Only thing is that you're probably going to have to send him down to get him to change that approach. He's not going to change his approach probably while
he's not
going
to change his approach mid-season.
Yeah, you're going to have to send him down and have
sending him down.
people work with him to get him to change his approach. Now, I'm fine with that. I just don't want them to do the same exact thing where they call up Justin Crawford now and Justin Crawford's not ready, but they call him up because they need a center fielder. Like, you did it for Rojas, and look how Rojas has turned out. We're sending him back down.
Make a trade.
Yeah.
Like, for the outfielders. One of the outfielders that we eventually talked about. Or, I guess you just have to put Martian center field, or you do, Kemp and Kepler in the left field, because we've seen Kemp playing in left field.
I mean, he made his first start there, but he only played half the game there before they moved him back to first base.
I don't know how he's going to,
Now, I did see an article,
left field.
I think from Todd Zalecki, saying that they are going to start putting him in left field more.
I think it's going to be like a mix between left field and first base.
Mm-hmm. I think it depends on who the starter is. Like, today, they're going up against a left-handed starter, which means Buddy Kennedy's probably going to play first base.
And then Kepler's going to play left field.
Right. Well, Kemp's going to play left.
Oh, Kemp's going to play left
because
field.
Kepler's lefty. So
who did I say?
Kepler.
Oh, yeah.
So Kepler's going to be on the bench. Buddy's going to be at first.
I get the last names confused.
I know, and then Kemp's going to be... yeah. So it seems like against lefties, it's going to be Kemp in left, and then Buddy Kennedy at first until Harper comes back. And then if it's against righties, it'll be Kemp at first with Kepler out in left.
Yeah, or even you could do like Edmundo Sosa, because we saw him playing in left field. It's not the most liable option, but...
They could do that, but...
He's more tailored to the infield.
Don't think they're going to, or else we would have seen him out there. We already would have seen him out there again. He was only out there once, and then that was it.
Yeah, he robbed the home run, and that was it.
Yeah, they didn't put him back out there
After
again.
that miscommunication, it was basically basically done.
My feeling with that is if they were going to continue putting him in left field, you would have seen him in left field again at some point. Like, already. You wouldn't see Kemp out there. You would have seen
I guess
Sosa
they didn't like
there.
what they saw out of him in left field.
Either that or Sosa went to them and told them, I'm not comfortable.
He's not comfortable, because the outfield is a hard position.
It's a big transition from outfield to infield.
Exactly, because you're not covering as much ground as you were
Plus,
in the infield and the outfield.
Who knows? Edmundo Sosa could have went to them and been like, I can't see the frickin' ball from 300 feet
That's
away.
a thing away.
Like,
that's the thing too.
Like you got to have good eyesight to be an outfielder.
It's so much easier to see the ball from the infield than it is from the outfield.
If you're not able to see that ball immediately off the bat from the outfield, you're fucked. Like
basically,
you have no way to track the flight of the ball because you didn't see it off the bat.
You
don't know where it's going.
That's what happened on Saturday night. I think it was Lindor who hit the ball to the opposite field.
And then Castellanos lost it in the lights, right?
Castellanos just lost it just because he sucks at defense.
Was it Casty that lost it in the lights, or was someone else playing right field that game? Was that the game that Castellanos was sat? It was Casty?
Missed the ball completely.
Okay. Yeah, he lost it. Like, you see him run to it, and then the ball, like, almost hits him, like, right in, like, the torso almost. Yeah. Like, he completely lost it in the lights.
I'll say this. My hatred for Nick Castellanos has grown so much. It's insane.
What, ever since I pointed out the fact that he can't field a lick of defense at all?
The fact that he can't field a lick of defense. And I love how I was on social media the day he got benched, and everyone was complaining, like, oh, why are you firing him? Why are you benching him, Rob Thompson? Why don't we just fire Rob Thompson instead or bench him? And then I was like, well, he sucks at defense. I mean, I'd rather have Rojas out there playing defense than Castellanos. And then they was like, and then all the comments were like, oh, Castellanos doesn't have an error. He doesn't have no. I was like, first of all, he's the worst qualified defender in the league. He's the third worst defensive run saved and the worst outs above average.
Yeah, he's not a good fielder.
He is the worst defender. If Kyle Schwarber was not on this team, he'd be the designated hitter.
And it's crazy that, like, on the broadcast, they talk about him like he's a good outfielder.
Yeah,
Like, you listen to Tom McCarthy, and he's like, he's played great right field ever since he's been here.
They treat him like he's Jesus.
And it's like, are you watching the same baseball that I'm watching, Tom McCarthy?
And then Wednesday night, he makes his jumping catch 10 the game, because it's not a Philly save without runners on second and third or whatever, and the ball is hit 1,000 feet to right field and somehow caught.
Always a little bit of drama.
Always a little bit of drama. He lifts up his shirt. I don't know what that means.
Oh, because there was something he wrote on the shirt that
What, I suck? Like,
had some type of significant meaning to it or something. I
clearly
don't know.
didn't care about him lifting up his shirt.
I think
if you put any outfielder there, they make the catch routinely. You put Rojas out there, he's calling it. You put even Marsh, even Kepler. It's not like he had to like jump, crash into the wall, his hat falls off, he's rolling on the ground. Like, he's like, oh, just a little jump, like I'm going to hit the question block in Mario.
And I feel bad saying this, because we are sitting here saying, hey, how he's a bad fielder, but like, the actual premise of fielding, he's not bad at. He can catch the ball.
He can catch the ball.
He can track the ball. He can throw the ball pretty good. He's got a good arm. It's just that he's got zero range.
He has zero range.
He has zero range.
Speed.
Yeah, like, the man can cover about 25 feet, and that's about it. Like, that's all you're getting out of him.
If he's sitting here in right field and the ball is hit all the way into the corner, foul territory, it's gonna take him.
It's a triple, at least.
It's a triple for
It's an easy triple.
Anyone with speed.
I feel bad, shitting on his defense, because it's not like his defense is like awful to the point that, like, you know, he makes bad throws, he makes errors all the time. That's not what we mean by bad defense, and I think that's what a lot of people think when they think of bad defense. They think of stuff like that. They think of like, oh, you didn't catch the ball that was clearly catchable. You threw the ball over some guy's head. You did this thing. When there's actually a lot more that goes into defense than just catching the ball and throwing it.
Yeah, you got to look at it more advanced.
Yeah.
Like,
we
would be talking trash on his defense, say, if like Alec Boehm ended up throwing the ball over Bryce's head 3 times in the game. Like, that's something you could trash on. Castellanos running to get to the ball and taking like 45 years, something you can trash on. It doesn't matter that he didn't make an error.
Exactly.
It's just that he just allowed the runner to go to second to third. He just allowed the runner to go an extra 90 feet.
By the fact that he's just not fast enough to play the position. He just can't.
He jogs.
No, the sad thing is that he's not jogging.
That's his normal speed.
Yes, the sad thing is he's not jogging. Hey. That is how fast he is. He's not fast.
Yeah, don't worry about his defense. We already covered his defense. Now we got to cover his offense.
I mean, he's got a decent average. He hits a home run every once in a while. He's not the worst guy on this team offensively by any means. He's probably a league average hitter, I would say.
I guess.
He's a league average hitter. I mean,
he boosts his fake stats by getting his little slapdick singles to boost his fake OPS to 792.
Well, he's hitting like 270 something, 273.
Yeah, 274.
274. Okay.
Oh, dude, his K percentage on Savant is 65 out of 100. So.
Holy wait, you mean 65th percentile?
65th, yeah, percentile.
Okay, so he's in the. That means he's in the top 65% of strikeouts.
Yeah.
Not that he strikes out 65% of his at-bats. That would be insane.
Well, the Phillies' bats have definitely increased, like, OPS, I would say.
Yeah, since the one time that we... Dude, I mean, when I brought up that thing and when it was after the Pirate series, their OPS was under 500, I think, or it was under 600.
Yeah, something like that. But now it
was awful.
Now we got Schwarber at 900, like always. Price has been the same. Turner's at 800. Castellanos is at 773. Alec Boehm is at 734. So the structure,
he's starting to hit his doubles again. Boom.
Yeah, he finally is.
He's starting to get back into hitting the ball into the gaps.
Kepler's almost at 700. JT is almost at 700. Bryson Stott, I feel like he has improved.
Nah. And Kemp is still too small of a
Kemp is-
sample
yeah,
size.
Kemp is still
it's been
too-
what, 13 games, 14 games. Like,
Yeah. I think
Now-
Marsh's is over 700.
I think he does have a hit in every single game except for one game though so far, Kemp. Or no, 2 games. So that's a good sign.
He's getting singles. and
Yeah, like
stuff.
he's getting hits and he's getting on base. It's just that he's not really. I really thought that what was it, Sunday, when he hit that ball out to left field, I was like, that's his first home run, and then it just completely died out there and left.
Oh, dude.
It was
Yeah, he's hit a
it was like
couple.
right on the warning track, like off the bat. I was like, that's it. That's the first, like that's his first home run, and then I'm seeing it go out there. And I see it get to like maybe halfway to the outfield, and I see it to start to drop, and I'm like, no.
He's hit a couple of balls that were hit either to the track or.
I know he's had a couple.
There was one on, I think it was either Sunday night or something like that, where I swear the broadcast made it show like he hit it, he crushed it.
I know. I think
it
that's
died
the
at the
same.
track.
Yeah, that's the same one that I'm talking about. I
Yeah.
think where it looked like off the bat he crushed it. It made a loud noise. It made a loud noise off the bat. And it just died out in the outfield. It just died on the warning track. I was like, damn it. Thought that was going to be number 1 for him. I was about to get excited. Let's talk about the fact that apparently I had no idea that this was a thing, but I see you wrote this in here. The Union were reportedly offered a chance to sign Thomas Mueller, the Bayern Munich legend, and
I saw
turned
that.
it down.
I saw that. I was reading something on, what was it, like Reddit or something, and I saw that, and I was like, I can't believe, why would they turn that down? And then I realized that it was his salary that they just couldn't afford, I guess. They didn't want to meet his salary demands. And I kind of get why. Like, he's 35 years old. He's obviously not going to be the same production as he was back in his earlier prime years, but
My whole thing is like, it's MLS, dude.
it's MLS, yeah.
You're getting some guy that has been playing Champions League football
League, World Cup.
for like 13, 14, 15 years, and you're going to not sign him because you think paying him $8 million is too much?
I guess, yeah. I don't know if it was either that or it's like something we don't know.
Like,
or, I mean,
maybe
it would,
he wanted like 4 years or something like that.
maybe, yeah.
Like, if
Like,
it was just $8 million for one season, why would you not do that?
It's not worth giving like a. If it's a 1-year contract, yeah, but if he's asking
that's
for
what I'm saying.
4 or 5, like you said,
yeah, if it's like a 1-year deal, what's the harm in bringing in a literal soccer legend for a year at $8 to $10 million? It's gonna do amazing things for your football team. Like, whether or not it actually does amazing things for you results-wise in the league.
But it's good for the dressing room.
It's great for the rest of the players. You kidding me?
They get to learn from a freaking legend.
Exactly. You don't think that the rest of those players in that Union locker room would not jump at the chance to have a conversation with Thomas Mueller?
Exactly,
the guy that won
yeah.
the Golden Boot in the most recent World Cup in 2022? Scored like 7 goals
somehow,
over a
yeah.
matter of 5 games. You don't think that all these guys would love to sit there and pick his brain and like talk to him and like see things through his perspective and stuff? Like,
Especially even like the young guys too, like Cavan.
yeah, I mean, he's 15 years old. You don't want to put a 15-year-old kid with great potential with a legend?
He was 20 when he was born, which is crazy. And
Yeah.
he was probably playing professional at the time.
I just think that that's kind of stupid. Unless it was something where like Thomas Mueller was like, yeah, I need at least 3 years. I mean, I understand not wanting to give him that much money for that long amount of a time, but if it was just kind of one of those, hey, I kind of want to end my season playing in. For some reason, a lot of these European players, it seems like they want to play their last years over here in America.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't know what that's I don't know what that's about. I don't know if they just want to be able to see what it's like over here,
Or if it's just like
or
like a new change of scenery or
right.
something.
Or I don't know if it's maybe like some type of thing where like the MLS is like giving maybe initiative for players to like finish their years here to help improve the young people that generally get their start in this league.
Like if they want to teach the
Yeah,
younger
like,
generation.
I feel like it
what they've
maybe
done.
has something to do with that, where like a lot of these European guys see like a lot of young talent that's over here that needs to be nurtured and grown and developed. So they're like, do I want to sit here and, play another season and only play in like 15 games coming off the bench, or do I want to go to the MLS, start all 32 games, and be able to teach the next generation how to play the right way, or whatever
exactly,
it is,
so.
So I feel like that might have a decent amount to do with it, but yeah, unless he was asking for something like crazy, where he was asking for multiple years of $8 to $10 million, that seems like a kind of a missed opportunity by the union. I feel like a complete missed opportunity.
Yeah, but
plus a complete missed opportunity to get in with other German players. Like, you need to remember, Germany is one of the best European leagues in the world,
besides,
and
the
best
Premier League.
national teams in the world that produces the best players. You don't want to, why wouldn't you want to bring in a German legend, show him, hey, life's really good over here. You should go tell your other German guys that life is really good over here, and they should come play out their final years here too.
Because Marco Reus is in MLS, and he's German.
Yeah, it seems like a missed opportunity, I feel like, from the union.
And then one last thing about the Club World Cup, because I've seen a lot on social media that the fans are amazing. Like the fans of Why That and Boca Juniors and all those clubs, they're going crazy.
Yeah, they're all fantastic.
It's just a thing that the attendances are extremely low, and that's a really bad onlook considering that this country is also going to host the
World Cup.
The World Cup, which I think obviously the attendance will be much better just because it's an international tournament. This is a domestic tournament that nobody really decides to watch and stuff. But
yeah, I think that it will also be more financially successful, the World Cup, obviously as compared to the Club World Cup. But what do you think? I wrote down a couple of things that I think play into the low attendance.
Yeah, I did see that.
And what are your thoughts on
the scorching heat? Obviously, because we're in the middle of a freaking heat wave down here. It's a disaster,
and
I hate it.
A lot of these games have been played at MetLife,
the
Link,
California,
DC,
Atlanta,
Miami, Pasadena, California,
places where
hot,
places where the weather is the most hottest, especially in the midst of summer.
Yeah, and not only is it hot on all of these places on the East Coast because of the heat wave, you also got to deal with the humidity too.
Yeah, they're not used to this type of weather.
Exactly, they are not used to. You got to think, most of Europe is above where America is on the map. If you're looking just at straight longitude lines, latitude, longitude, all that stuff, they are higher than where we are. So they do not get the same type of heat that we do. And even the nations that are more southern, they have a gigantic sea there that cools everything the entire year round so that it doesn't get to the scorching 105 heat index that we have over here.
That we're dealing with now.
Because we just got freaking hundreds of... we have over 1,000 miles of land between two places with no water in between. Which is insane to think about. That's nuts. And one of the things that I wrote, I think this is the biggest contributing factor, is the fact that in all these other tournaments, there's not the same amount of travel that you have to do. In the World Cup, if the World Cup were to be played in England or in Germany, because it's not like it's going to be spread out throughout all of Europe. It's going to take place in one country.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the big problem, number one. The United States is as big as Europe. So that's number one, the problem. To go from Cincinnati to Miami, all right? So Bayern Munich played their first game in Cincinnati, and then 6 days later, or 4 days later, played another game in Miami. So that's a distance of 1,100 miles over those 4 days. That is about the distance from Paris, France to Brest, Belarus, which is 3 countries away.
That's 3 countries,
That is 3 countries away. And you want people from Germany who you're literally asking them to cover a distance that's larger than their entire country to travel for one game. And then do it again to go up to Charlotte for game 3.
What they should have done is Cincinnati, Charlotte, then Miami. Charlotte's in the middle of it.
They should have just had them play all 3 games for the
Cincinnati.
knockout, all 3 games of the group in the same stadium. Why would you set it up where you have these teams going from here to there to there?
Which is stupid.
Do you really think the fans have the money to afford that travel? Do you know how much an airplane ticket is probably from Cincinnati to Miami?
Couple $100 at least.
For one person.
One person, yeah.
And you got people that bring their whole families here for this stuff. They bring 5 kids. Like, you're telling me you want people to drop $3,000 on plane flights just to go to 3 games? Not even on the tickets. Not even on the hotels. Not on anything else. You're asking them to spend $3,000 on plane tickets.
Last summer, I drove to Pittsburgh to watch the Phillies play, and we drove across the whole state of Pennsylvania. So about 5-hour drive, 5.5.
To go from Manchester to London, right, which people in London bitch about all the time, 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours.
That is it.
That's crazy.
That's basically like one of the longer trips that you can make.
That's
in,
like from
in
that's
England.
like from where I'm from
To Washington, D.C.
or to like the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, like that's literally from where we are right now to Washington, D.C.
Basically,
is like that is like their longest travel.
when I drove across Pittsburgh, it's like, wow, I just drove across England. I drove across the whole country, and now
basically,
and then I didn't even leave my state.
Like, think about it. If you go from New Jersey and you were to travel by car from here all the way out to California,
it would take
you're
you
covering
like,
basically the same amount of distance from Madrid, Spain, all the way over to like St. Petersburg, Russia.
Which is crazy. Look how many countries are in the way of that, dude.
Yeah, like that's what
ridiculous.
I'm saying. These people are not used to traveling like that.
No, they're not.
You can't ask them to travel like that.
You have bad travel. You have scorching heat. Chelsea canceled their practice because they're training at the Unions. They're training at the Unions ground.
And also, like, all of these stadiums, they're not playing in domes. They're playing in open air stadiums. So there's no relief at all, and there's no shade for the entirety of the game.
And then one more thing I have is the kickoff times.
Yeah, the fact that it's at 12?
12 o'clock or 9 o'clock.
Dude, what are you doing at noon? So you're telling me you're going to play a game where you run for a straight 2 hours, basically, during the hottest part of the day?
At noon?
In the outdoors, in the blistering sun.
Outdoors, or 9 o'clock, which is stupid. Like, it's a work day. You know, people got to go to work tomorrow. You're not going to go to a football match at 9 p.m. on a Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly.
It just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, there's a couple things the kickoff times, travel distances. Yeah,
it would make sense if it was 9 p.m. for a game in California. But why are you playing a game at the Link? Why are you playing Chelsea and Flamengo, a game at the Link at 9 p.m.?
At 9 p.m. That's England time, 2 a.m.
Like, why are you doing that?
Nobody's gonna go up to 2 a.m. to watch that football match.
And Flamengo is Brazil, so they're on like the same time that we are.
The same time as we are. Maybe I think they're in like maybe an hour ahead or an hour behind. I don't know.
Right, but it's not like they're gonna be too far ahead or behind. You can't just make the game at 8 o'clock.
You can't make it.
You can't make it at 7:30 or 8.
You can't make it at 7 o'clock. Like,
even if you make it at 8, it's done by 10:30.
Exactly.
Like, if you get in bed at
the game
11 o'clock,
ends at 11 o'clock for a 9 p.m. kickoff, and then you got the traffic coming out of the stadium.
Yeah, and we all know how traffic is coming out of frickin' the Link.
They're not used to this traffic, though.
Oh,
the thing is, the Europeans aren't used to this traffic because all the stadiums, they require you to take public transportation.
Yeah, for the most part, you gotta. Well, a lot of these European nations are set up with really, really good public transportation. You're gonna tell me that some foreigner is gonna figure out how to work SEPTA in 4 hours?
Exactly. Like,
hell no. That's something they need weeks ahead to plan.
They're gonna come out of the hotel and they're gonna see the SEPTA and they're gonna see the crackhead hanging off the seat with a cigarette in his mouth. And
they're gonna be like, "This is what public transportation is like in this country."
Yeah, that's the bad rep they get in America. Welcome to Philadelphia. Here's a homeless guy hanging over the seat of a bus.
Like, public transportation in all these European countries is really, really good.
Because
public transportation here sucks.
It sucks,
like,
dude.
It sucks.
It's like, oh, you take public transportation? You're a weirdo.
I know. Like, and the reason why is because the public transportation sucks. If it didn't suck so bad, you wouldn't get such a weird look if you told people you take public transportation.
Exactly, but
like, for them, it's normal for all of them to take public transportation because it's good. It actually works. Things are actually on time. Why do you think people choose not to take public transport here all the time?
It's gross.
Buses always run late.
Buses suck, yep.
They're always hot. Like,
they're always dirty.
Yeah, like, it's the fact that we just don't give a shit about our public transportation. Like, we don't care. we're all like, I'd rather just drive my car
It's
anyway.
sad
So
too,
who gives
dude. Like,
who gives for
the
flying?
subways are free at Energy
Yeah.
Station. It's free for Eagles games.
Yeah, and you see whole cars that'll be empty almost.
Basically,
And it's like, dude, what?
because they smell like piss.
Why can't it be better than this? Is it really that hard to make it better than this?
Well, I mean,
Is it really that
You're
hard
coming-
to
you're
make
coming
the
off
train
of
car
Phil.
not smell like piss?
you're coming into Philadelphia. I mean, respect, dude.
But it's the same in like New York City too. It's
It
the
is.
same with
It's the
public
same-
transportation
it's-
anywhere in this
It's the
country.
same with any big city. New York City, Chicago, Los
Yeah.
Angeles.
I never hear anyone in London or whatever complain about the state of the public transportation. I never even hear them talk about how they get places. Have you ever heard someone in like a British TV show or something like that tell the other person how they got to where they are?
No.
That happens in American like shows and stuff like that all the time, where they have to be like, "Oh, sorry, the traffic. I need to find a parking spot." Blah blah blah. You never hear any of that in English shows
You
because they
don't.
don't deal with it. It's not something they got to deal with. Like, but that's definitely one of the reasons as to why there's so little
many
attendance
one
for
of, one of the many factors, indeed. So
like, I mean, especially you take a team like Auckland, New Zealand. Do you really think
yeah,
that
Auckland
the
City.
Auckland fans are going to be able to go from MetLife to the Link to Cincinnati in the span of 10 days and be
No.
able to like realistically do that? Like,
I mean, maybe the passionate fans. The players from Auckland are amateurs. They have full-time
exactly.
jobs.
Like, so you want these fans to sit here and pay more money than what the players are making
To watch an amateur
to
club.
watch them. Like, that's ridiculous. Is it not?
That's like if you paid money to go to Citizens Bank Park to watch the Iron Pigs play the Phillies.
Yeah, like it's like, what are we doing here? What, like, even that would be like, I'm going to the Camden River Sharks and I'm going to pay to see the Camden River Sharks in Camden, and then I'm going to pay to see them in Birmingham, Alabama, and then I'm going to pay to see them in Savannah, Georgia, and then I'm going to go up to
that? No one,
like,
there's no point in that at all.
I'm gonna go up to Erie, New York afterward. It's like, why are you doing all of this? Like, why don't you just go to like 4 games at Camden?
Just go to yes, exactly.
Like, why don't you just go to 4 home games? Like, I don't know. I just think that that's a really strange way for this Club World Cup to be set up, and I really hope the World Cup isn't set up like this.
Yeah.
Because then the same problem's gonna happen.
They'll look at the World Cup and the Club World Cup and they'll see all the complaints, and hopefully FIFA can change what they do for the upcoming
Yeah,
World
because,
Cup.
dude, this same issue is going to happen. They're going to have 12 p.m. kickoffs. You're not going to be able to have this competition at any other point than during the summer.
It's going to be the peak of the summer.
Yeah, like,
Not going to play it in winter.
so these problems that we're having right now for the Club World Cup are going to be the same exact problems. They're not avoidable.
Basically, yeah.
The only one that's avoidable is, why don't you just schedule all of the teams to play their game in one damn city up until the knockout rounds start, and then you can start moving teams around. Like,
It should be the norm, basically.
yeah, like, dude, could you imagine if there was a tournament in Germany? You do realize all of the games would be played at like 3 separate stadiums, and that's it.
Like Dortmund and Munich and like
And Leverkusen.
Leverkusen, whatever.
That's
Those are
probably about it.
Those are 3 cities, yeah.
And that means there's going to be a game. Like, why is there only one game at the Link, and then there's not another game for another 2 days? Do you really need a whole freaking 48 hours to work on the pitch
doesn't make
before
any
another
sense,
team
yeah.
gets on to play? Like, why? I just don't get it. Why is it spread out across 11,
What they could've-
12, 13 different stadiums?
What they could have done is they could have had all the groups. They could have had these 4 teams play in Philly, these 4 teams play in MetLife,
Yeah.
these 4 teams play in Atlanta, and then the next 4 play in California. So you have the 12 o'clock kickoff, these 2 teams in Philly, then you have the 9 o'clock kickoff. That's plenty of time for the pitch to get clean. It's time to get fixed and stuff. You have
Yeah.
plenty of time. You have about 6 to 7 hours to get it fixed.
Like, so far out of I didn't go through and look at every team's games, but the only teams that haven't moved for any of their games have been the MLS teams. That's it.
Because they're playing
Because
in their
they're playing in their home
original
stadiums.
country, yeah.
Other than that, every single other team has at least had to move from one location to another location for one game in this round robin stage.
And now they got to go to another location to finish out the group stage.
Yeah, like, is it really fair for Bayern Munich to have to go 1,800 miles in 10 days
And then they're gonna have
to try to advance
And then they're gonna have to travel again for the
knockout
round
rounds?
of 16, quarterfinals, semifinal, whatever.
Like,
So,
is that really? I understand that they're viewed as like the best team in the world, but like, is that really fair to subject the players to basically 2,000 miles? You're going over a 10-day span.
air travel and then excessive heat?
Yeah, like, I feel like
it
that's
doesn't-
not right to the players.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's not right to the players. It's not right to the fans. It's not right to anyone that's involved other than the people that are lining their freaking pockets. Like, and as you can see, they could be lining their pockets better because people aren't turning up.
Exactly.
People aren't showing out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so they could be, like, they could do a much better job than what they have done with this.